Last time I did that, it didn't go very well, and also I want you to buy the book, so. When I moved from my tiny hometown on Treaty 1 territory to the big city, there was one thing that became known pretty fucking quickly. I had to grow up. I had come out here to escape a life I thought didn't have room for me to be myself in, and I wasn't entirely sure what I wanted or needed to be successful in this relocation. I was going to film school 5 days a week and receiving a living allowance that was barely covering my Vancouver rent when I began hustling. In the first few years of doing sex work, I didn't tell a soul. This was largely because of the stigma workers face from general public and from loved ones. And apart from one boy who I occasionally worked with, I had no known community with the same lived experience as myself. After an altercation with a speed-hungry daddy in the West End that resulted in a broken hot pink skateboard deck and a busted lip, I confided in a close friend about my whereabouts when I was on the job. I began to feel comfortable when talking about my hustle to my chosen family, which made me feel safer when I was working. Last year, 2 years ago, I wrote and directed my short film titled Positions about a male, indigenous, queer sex worker's day-to-day experience with clients. When it came time to raise funds for the project and find people to collaborate with, it was very important to me that people know that this story was, as I called it back then, sorta kinda autobiographical. As a lover of cinema, I know it is extremely rare for someone to capture sex workers on screen with nuance and agency, and the project was always going to be something that was filling a hole in my cinema lover heart. Coming out as a sex worker who makes art about sex work was interesting. People are really eager to engage with me about the film, but are either unsure of how to do that properly or are too afraid to even try. Within the first 3 public screenings of Positions, I'd experienced my fair share of stupid questions and invasive inquiries. Why didn't he just get an actual job? Why would he call his grandma right after? Why would he sleep with someone who's just made racist remarks to him? I find it astonishing that people will try and strip you of your agency just because they cannot relate or see you as an actual human being unless first they feel pity. I've come to assume that these people have no idea what it's like to be poor or unemployable.
Wow.
I'm gonna really help that.
Worth a try.
Dream boy. I transform for pay. The boy I become is the boy who holds space in my dreams. Bought, not bothered with knowing how to explain himself or apologizing for things he cannot control. Cool, calm, collected. The ideal rent this boy. At times his bones ache from the pressure that is transforming people while transformed. He remembers this body is medicine, curing confused white men who think I need them more than they need me. How do you distinguish love from sex, he asks. Sex fills me up and love reminds me it's okay to be empty.
Yeah.